Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mackie and I hope you're all having a great day today. So we are officially on day number 7 of 31 days of Halloween and I've been having so much fun so far. So I hope you guys have been enjoying it too, and don't forget to leave your recommendations of what you think I should do during these 31 days. And don't forget to check out my brand new merch. I'll leave everything linked right down below. For today's video, we're going to be talking about something that is way scarier than any ghosts, demons, monsters, literally the scariest thing out of everything. And that is talking about my crazy neighbors. Oh my god, okay. So I don't know if I've ever done like a full-on story time about them. I know I've told you guys what they've done, but I'm gonna give you guys the full rundown from the day they moved in up until now, as well as my other crazy neighbors who live across the street from me. I'm really excited to talk about this because, like I said, I think it's funny. We're not going to be reacting to any of their videos, or I'm not really going to be answering questions today, but if you do have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments and I will get back to them at some point in a future video. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with day number 1 that they got here. So they moved in, and let me just say we were like kind of excited because most of the people on our street have lived here literally forever. Like they lived here for like 50 years. They're pretty old at this point. So our street, ever since I was little, like there were no kids on my street, nothing. So it was always like a pretty boring street, to be honest. So when younger people were moving in next door, we were like, oh cool, like maybe they'll be fun to hang out with, or you know, we can have like actual neighbors that we can do things with, since they were right next door. And as we know now, that was not the case whatsoever. So at this point, I think we kind of wish it was another like elderly couple who moved in. Okay, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should definitely head over to my TikTok. It's Mackie Albertson. That'll be linked down below as well. But if you don't know what I'm talking about here with the crazy neighbors, you need to go watch all my TikTok videos, because then you'll understand why I'm making this video. There's no way for me to really explain about these people, so I'm gonna do my best to explain what they're like, but you gotta go watch the TikToks. Okay, so day number 1, they move in, start getting settled in. They were super friendly the first day, just being neighborly, you know? So my parents are talking to them, just like, oh, like, where are you guys moving from? Stuff, you know, just normal stuff for people who are moving in next door to you. Later on that day, I'm working outside and I overhear them talking about how everything in their house is stolen. So they're saying, oh yeah, our fridge is stolen, stove, dishwasher, TV, couch, literally saying everything was stolen. And I was like, okay, that's kind of odd that people would be talking like that. And at first I thought they were joking, but come to find out, and I don't think they were joking about that. Like, I do believe if they say it's stolen, I believe it's stolen. So they're moving all their stuff in, still like, you know, kind of excited about new neighbors being here with us. And so we just went about our normal day. They made some small talk with me, asking what I was doing. I let them know I was converting a van, and they're like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah. And so either the next day or the day after that, I can't remember, it was so long ago now. This was like, oh, and by the way, they moved in probably like, it's probably been like 3 or 4 months now that they've lived here. But so a couple of days later, I'm sitting in the van working. They come over to the van, it's the middle of the day, and they're like, hey. I'm like, oh hi, like what's up? They're like, can you dig this big hole for us? And I was like, what? What? And they're like, yeah, can you like dig this, help us dig this big hole? And I was like, well, first of all, I just didn't really want to dig a big hole. I was in the middle of working on the van and I just didn't want to do it. So I'm like, no, not really. Like, I'm kind of busy right now. I'm sorry. And Okay, this is super off topic, but like, sorry, sometimes when I'm like in here not even filming or anything, I get like extremely dizzy and feel like I'm gonna pass out. So that just happened right now. This is the only place this happens to me at. The other day I was doing a podcast with someone and I was in here like telling the stories about like the thing in my room, and I was like on the verge of passing out. I was like trying to play it off, but everything was spinning. I was about to like, literally about to pass out. And in the middle of the podcast, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was on a Zoom during this podcast. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, like my dogs are barking, give me a second, but they weren't actually. So I like leave my room, and the second I step out of my room into the hallway, like I'm completely fine, like 100% fine. And I was like, this is so weird, what's happening? Walk back into my room, feel like I'm gonna pass out again, like on the verge of it. So I pick up my laptop, I'm like, oh sorry, we're gonna have to like move out here to this room. So I take my laptop out there, literally no more problems. I feel completely like stable. It was so weird. So can someone tell me if that's like something that happens with like a bad spirit or something? They make you feel like you're gonna pass out and super dizzy and disoriented. Okay, sorry for like the interruption, but that was just crazy. Okay, yeah, so I say to them, no, I'm sorry, like I can't really do that right now. I'm working on the van, like I'm really sorry. Just trying to be super nice about it. They're like, oh, okay, and they just like walked off. And of course, since they walk off like that, I like felt guilty that I said no, but I just didn't want to do that. And I didn't think it was like sketchy at that point. I thought it was a little weird. They kept saying a big hole, and so they leave, whatever. Then the next day I saw them and they asked me again, and I was like, oh, I can't believe they're like actually even putting me in this position right now. Like, I just don't really want to dig this hole. So I'm like, I'm sorry, like I really just can't. It was in that moment that things started to switch up. They started to get weird, like standoffish and just like rude. They'd give us dirty looks, and then they started blowing all their like debris into our driveway. They were like redoing their front yard or something, or gardening. So they blow all their stuff into our yard, don't pick it up. My dad starts getting upset about it, and that was just the beginning. Soon after that, I noticed I'd cut a piece of wood, walk into my garage for a few minutes, do whatever. I'd come back out and the piece I just cut would completely be gone. Literally, I'd ask my dad if he accidentally picked it up and threw it away, and he's like, no, I didn't. But it'd be the only piece of wood sitting on the grass. I'd walk away, come back completely gone, but yet they're outside. And then I hear them using a drill in wood. I'm like, okay, something's up. So the first time I was like, okay, that's really weird. I don't know what happened to it. But then it started happening more and more often, to the point where I'm like, okay, these people are literally stealing my wood. Like, they are 100% stealing my wood. And they'd even at times come into my garage and take wood, I guess, because wood would just disappear. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, why didn't you call the police? Well, I had no video evidence. I had no footage. Like, what am I supposed to do? Call the police and say, I think these people took my wood. I have no evidence, but yeah. So no, I can't do anything about it. So from that point, it just started becoming everyday occurrences of something happening with them, and them just being weird and starting to give me dirty looks and call me names and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why are these like middle-aged people like harassing me? And so this was in the middle of the day, and it was starting to get into the summer months. So it started to get hotter and hotter, to the point where I'm like, I'm literally gonna pass out if I work during the day. So I transferred over to working at night, because I'm like, okay, well, I'll be out of the hot sun and I'll stop getting dehydrated. Because when I was working during the day in summer, I'd get like really dehydrated, like really bad. I'd feel like I was gonna pass out for the rest of the day, and it was just not a good feeling. So I'm like, okay, well, if I start working at night, I'm out of the heat, I'll stop getting dehydrated. The people won't be out as much because they're not really out too much during the evening. So it's like a win-win situation. So I start working during the nighttime, and by nighttime I mean from around 6 o'clock to 9 or 10 o'clock depending, but like I've said multiple times, I always stop the power tools at 7 or 7:30, 8 o'clock latest for like little pieces. But that was like the dead of summer when it didn't even get dark until 9:30. And keep in mind, these people are up all hours of the night walking around outside, so they weren't trying to sleep. So I start working in the evenings, and sure enough, they start coming out in the evenings. And I'm like, well, great. Apparently they transferred over to my schedule, so now whenever I'd be there, they'd be there, and you guys see everything that happens, the things they'd say to me when they sabotage my painting on the van. And all this time I've just wondered, what did I ever do to these people? And I know you guys wonder the same thing. Well, I think I have an answer finally. So I've really thought about this like so much. And I think one of the issues in the very beginning, the guy would make sly remarks like, wow, like I've never seen a girl do this. Usually I only see men do this. And I thought it was like, I don't know, I guess I'm optimistic. I was taking it as like, oh, like, thank you. Like, a girl can do this too. Thanks for noticing. But I think now it was more, when he'd say that stuff, it was more of like him being sexist, saying a girl shouldn't be doing this stuff. It should be left up to men to do this stuff. So I think that was one of the reasons he started getting annoyed that a girl was out here doing this stuff. And another part of this, I think, that is why they don't like me, is because I've noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed, they're sketchy people. They've said sketchy stuff about them owing people large amounts of money and people owing them large amounts of money, or how they can't leave the country, or how they have to transport something. So I think they have some sketchy stuff going on over there. And by me being out there all the time, especially at night now, they aren't able to do what they need to do because I'm always standing out there. So I see them pacing back and forth, cars pull up, cars leave, they look over at me. I think something sketchy is going on. So I think that is one of the reasons why they say stuff to me. I think they're trying to scare me off or intimidate me, so I don't want to work out there, but it hasn't worked clearly. I just ignore them all the time. So that is one of the reasons. And I think just both of those together, I don't know if it has anything to do with the power tools, but they make a lot more noise than I do at all hours of the night compared to me just using power tools really quickly in the evening. So I don't know how that would upset someone so much to the point of them saying all this stuff to me and doing this stuff to me. So there's clearly a lot of stuff I skipped over, including the screaming little girl, what they did to my dog, my puppy. So I've like gone over that so many times, I just don't know if I should anymore because you guys have heard it so many times. But at this point, it's a full-on police investigation. They haven't been as bad lately, so I think they know that I have cameras now that's watching them. They're not gonna do anything crazy. So those are the main reasons I think why everything has happened the way it has happened, starting out from when I said no to digging the giant hole. There's been so much stuff in between, but I think those are the main things. Now skipping over to the neighbors across the street that I have had issues with since I was literally able to walk. And these people, once again, have lived here for years and years and years and years. And it all started out when I forget how old, I was in elementary school. Me and my friends would be out front in the street with my brother and his friends, everyone playing street hockey with a net in the middle of the street. But every time a car would pull around the corner, we were really good about picking up the net, moving out of the way, letting the car pass by, and then going back to playing. So the first time, so they ended up calling the cops on us, saying that we were blocking the entire road, shooting the puck or ball, whatever we were using, into people's cars, and basically just doing all this stuff that we weren't doing as 9-year-olds. So they call the police. The police come, tell us that these people called on us for doing all this stuff, how if we keep doing it, they're gonna have to do something. And we're like, we're not doing anything, we're just playing hockey. So the cop was like, okay, like, I believe you guys just keep doing you, because the people are older, so they're just like upset for some reason. But that was the first time they called the police. The second time was a couple years later. Me and my friends decided to go toilet papering to one of our other friends' houses who lives in my neighborhood. So we just toilet paper each other back and forth. We decided to go over to their house and toilet paper them because they toilet papered us, so we decided to go over there and do it to their house. So we're standing outside waiting for one last person to come outside of my house, and we're standing in the street at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night waiting to go, and the people come out of their house, look directly at me, I look at them, they clearly see it's me, the person who lives in the house, and then they walk back inside. So I'm like, okay, like whatever. Well, we go toilet papering, and not even 5 minutes later, there's a police helicopter circling around us. One of my brother's friends was like, oh god, like the helicopter's here, we should start heading back. And so we start running back, and the police helicopter comes zooming on top of us with the spotlight. 5 cop cars come zooming in, and they tell us to get down on the curb right away. So we sit down on the curb, the spotlight is on all of us. They said they had gotten a call that me and my friends were breaking into cars, that we had broken into a white van, and yeah, that we're just breaking into cars, stealing stuff. But the white van is my dad's van. And these people know that. They saw me. They saw me standing in front of my dad's van. So they called and said I broke into my dad's van. We're like, no, I live in that house. That's my dad's van. We didn't do anything. We're just toilet papering. So the cop was like, okay, I believe you guys, but you need your parents to come down and pick you guys up. And I could literally see my house from there. It's like 100 feet away. And so my mom had to walk down. We all just walked back, and the other kids, their parents had to all come over there and pick them up. So that was the second time they called the police. The third time they called the police was probably like 6 months ago. The house catty corner to mine was the old man who lived there passed away, unfortunately, and they completely demolished the entire house. So the whole front of it was completely open. So one night me and my friends were hanging out, and we were gonna go get yogurt or something, and we're like, hey, should we check out the house real quick? Like, just peek in, see what's in there. And so we walk over there, literally peek into this house and be like, wow, that's crazy. Like, I knew this guy my whole life. So we were in there for not even 5 minutes, honestly. We weren't even in there for 5 minutes. Once again, while I'm walking over there, the neighbor comes out of their house. These people are always outside their house also. I should mention that. All hours of the night, walking around with flashlights. So they look at me, I look at them, we walk over to the house, come out. As we're coming out, police helicopter, 5 cop cars come zooming around the corner, yell at us to get up against the Jeep. So we get up against the Jeep. They said the neighbor had called and said that we were breaking into there, stealing materials, smoking and drinking and vandalizing. At that point, we told them we weren't even in there for 5 minutes. This is literally my house right here. So I had to give him my license and everything and prove that I was standing in front of my own house. I told him I knew the guy for my whole entire life. We just peeked our heads inside, and that was it. And so they're like, okay, we believe you guys, just probably don't do that next time. We're like, okay, we won't. But the part that just pisses me off about this is they take a giant wheelbarrow over there. There's all this like construction, dirt or wood, whatever. They take a giant wheelbarrow over there all the time, fill up the wheelbarrow and take it back over to their house to use for themselves. I'm like, you guys are the ones stealing materials. What do you mean? So that's a rundown with the other neighbors. I remember she almost called the cops on me one time when I was in elementary school for doing one of those fundraisers where you go door to door asking your neighbors if they want to like donate and get like Christmas gift wrap or chocolate or whatever. So I was doing that, and I ring her doorbell, and she almost called the cops on me because I was on her property. And so I just can't with any of these people. And like the other night there was like an ambulance over there, and I tried to be friendly, be like, oh my gosh, like what happened? Is everyone okay? And she was literally like, yeah, we're all fine. Why are you up so late looking at us? It was 1 in the morning the ambulance came, and so this was the next day I was talking to her about it. 1 a.m. isn't late to me, so I was just like watching TV and I saw the ambulance go by. So I like walked out to see like whose house it was going to, and I saw it was in front of theirs. So I thought it was like friendly, being like, oh my gosh, is everyone okay? But she was like pissed about it, me asking. So I don't know, I can't win with these people. I'm surrounded. Okay, but that is the complete rundown with both of my crazy neighbors. I will definitely keep you guys updated if anything like super crazy happens, if there's anything to add on to this story. But I hope you guys did enjoy it. I know everyone always has so many questions about this, so if you have any now, leave them down below. I'll try to do another video in the future if you guys want to see that. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my new videos this month. There's gonna be a new one every single day. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.